Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the Chaos.
The Chaos is live once again. I'm Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. And over there, dang, I get that wrong every time. Over there, David Rattan, the voice of Chaos. And David, Funny Car Chaos portion of Chaos Nation is completely in the books for 2023.
Yes, it is. And what a way to finish the season with that championship finals event down at State Capitol Raceway. Man, we had huge crowds down there for the event. The racing was phenomenal. And, so like you said, we came into that championship finals race with a whole lot of things yet to be determined. And so as if we needed a little bit more of excitement, we had plenty of excitement. And coming down to the semifinals of the A field, followed by the B field, to actually determine who was going to be the championship, it came right down to the wire. There was only one more round left to go before we could decide the championship. But man, the anticipation was just all worth it, and it lived up to the billing all the way around.
It certainly did. Frankly, a chaotic event. It lived up to Funny Car Chaos with heads-up drag racing, all the different types and styles and looks, shapes, and models of funny cars, with the on-track excitement that there was in each and every round of qualifying and each and every round of eliminations. Certainly, it's so good that you and I can go live tonight, and as has been stated, as has been said, and we can echo it once again, we're glad that Ronnie Young's back home in Texas after the incident Friday night with the blue Max hitting the wall. It looked so bad Friday night, and to hear the good news Saturday morning, it was good news that he was okay.
That was one of the things that you just absolutely hate to have that kind of thing happen when we're at a racing event. And but a lot of folks, and we're not bashful talking about it, a lot of folks lifting up prayers that night, and they were certainly heard and answered, as our good friend Ronnie Young is doing much better than certainly could have happened. So that was kind of the one the one takeaway from the event, that if there was something that we wish hadn't happened, that would be the one. So we're very happy that the good news has continued to come out after the crash, the care flight, but he's now home and recuperating, and it was so much better than it could have been. So we're very, very excited about that. Now, the crowd down there at Baton Rouge, they were outstanding in every way. I don't know if you got a chance to see this or not, but Tommy Killingsworth was the misfit gasser. He posted a picture. He was on the way back to the track from the Opelousas side of 190 there, and he just took his camera out. He said, "Man, this is like the Cajun Nationals from the old days. I got to have a video of this." And he's posted it to social media. And so, Tommy, thanks for putting that out there. But what a great thing, a great experience to see that. And, you could just get that sense. I've talked about it before. It's going to the funny car races when I was a kid and seeing all the cars and the tow vehicles and trailers and all that jazz. It was simply great, and it just gets you excited as all that's happening, as you're pulling up and you're seeing that. It's like, man, I have got to get there. And the racing was outstanding. We talked about last year, we only qualified in A field and the B field, but this year, 50% more cars. 25 cars came to get one of the 24 spots that were available. And it was a downright dogfight. And it was just so, you could tell that there was a lot on the line with just about every pair that came to the starting line. So that was a big improvement and a big change. And, but the enthusiasm of the fans just carried over from Friday night as soon as we opened the gate, as people began streaming in and going out and meeting the teams. And of course, it was fantastic coming down a field win for Shayne Lawson that we get a chance to talk to tonight over Keith Zimmerer. Tom Furches, our champion, who clinched it in the semifinals there. He got a win in an all Colorado driver final in the B field. Chuck Lofton over Alex Barker there, as Alex made a big move up from 7 to number 4. The Dirty South Gassers and the Southern Outlaw Gassers, they came out in force as they are wont to do when we have them on the card. But that particular geography works well for the Southern Outlaw Gassers, particularly to add their special brand of magic to all things chaos. And so, big words of thanks to Gasser Girls, Chantel Nation, and to all of the race teams from Dirty South Gassers and Southern Outlaw Gassers. We have come to expect big things from those race teams, and they delivered in a big time way this time. So thanks to each and every one of those Gasser teams. And of course, the Game Exchange Jet Dragsters. We've had Ray Kelly come into the races for a long time with Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, and of course Andy Mears was actually the first Funny Car Chaos winner, because the B field final ran before the A field final at that first race back in 2017. But Ray Kelly and Andy Mears, I'm telling you what, you can tell they enjoy what they do, and you can certainly tell that the fans enjoy what they do. It was just tremendous. And next weekend we've got Nitro Chaos coming up, the championship finals down at Pine Valley Raceway, and we got a little bit of a preview of Nitro Dragsters going head to head with the Mitch King versus Joe Gallegos match race that we had there at State Capitol Raceway. Man, the Nitro cars are going to be filling up Pine Valley Raceway this weekend. We've got folks that are talking about it, looking forward to being there. And I know I'm one of those people that is very definitely looking forward to be there, as the intrigue and the round by round excitement, as we have those competitors at the top of the points list. Very little separation between number 1 and number 4. And so it's anybody's race. And we're looking to see some big numbers and some great performances, and make a lot of friends and make a lot of new fans down there at Pine Valley Raceway with Nitro Chaos this time. Lee, I think it's going to be outstanding.
It is going to be outstanding. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to rolling out the recap. I'm getting closer and closer to finalizing the recap from the Chaos Cajun Nationals. There was a lot of drama, David, in the pits for many competitors, but certainly for the 2 championship contenders. The Williams Brothers camp, they go out there. They are not fans of the auto start, I can tell you that. And that time that they were not pleased with, the 86, if I remember correctly, that got them in on the field, and they were kind of scratching their head. How do we get this thing to perform where Zimmerman is and others are? Well, they go out there and they show up with top speed in round 1 at that time and a great ET in the 70s. So they found something out of nowhere. Chris Williams doing it again. And then Tom Furches, he had, after round 1, bolts sheared off of a pulley. So they had to do some thrashing in the pits to get that turned around for round 2 for even an opportunity to keep pace with the Williams Brothers camp. And those type of stories were throughout the pits. If you go further with Chuck Lofton breaking the rear end on Nitro Psycho, which looked really nasty from where I was standing, about 330 feet, maybe a little bit beyond, and filming, it was a nasty little explosion that he had with the motor zinging. I love what Chuck said on the top end, David. He's like, yeah, my check engine lights came on.
I bet they did. And sometimes they're really, really bright, but they managed to take it. Good thing they had a backup funny car there that they could that they could move into when that bucket list car came up, and it's like, okay, so Chuck is going with the other car after the breakage. And, so it worked out really well for them as they did get that Wolf Pump Seafield win. And, but yeah, a lot of activity out there in the pits. And I got to say, and I know that everybody watching this show appreciates what you do, Lee, but those recaps and the chaotic moments and the interviews at the top end, yeah, it's such a thrill to see the raw emotion as the drivers emerge from the cars after their final round wins, and have the opportunity for you to interview them right there on the spot. It's adds such a great dimension to the coverage that we're able to bring to our fans. You're talking about out in the pit area. One of the things that has been a real plus from my experience with Funny Car Chaos is, the legends of the sport that frequently show up at the Chaos Series events, and this weekend was no exception, as Larry Reyes was in the John Troxel Brutus pit, and he was hanging around there and signing autographs and talking to people and visiting, and it was just great to have one of the funny car pioneers there. And along the same lines, some of the photo shoots, you have all kinds of new developments taking place with new teams bringing new ideas and fresh concepts into Funny Car Chaos, and some old names becoming new again. It was great to see the rear quarter panel of the Burn and Love Nova Funny Car with Toad Neal and Larry Reyes. Both of them now have something else in common, is they've got Coleman Taylor transmissions that has been on the sides of their two funny cars. So, great deal right there. We have other teams bringing in additional sponsor, T-Top Manufacturing joining the Gambler, and the list could go on. And over the off season, we very much hope to be able to highlight a lot of those new sponsors that are coming on for the series and for each of our competitors, because it's a very big deal to be able to deliver the kind of coverage, the kind of exposure, the kind of reach that allows these teams to bring on these new sponsors and supporters, and have the ability to deliver on the promise of making good on what they can do. So there was a lot of good things out there, and having the chance to hear about it from the racers, you could tell folks hanging around at the end of the races on Saturday night is kind of like some other things you've done before. It's kind of like after graduation from high school or college, or finishing your stint doing something else. It's kind of hard to leave, because it's going to be a while before we see each other again. And so the conversations just went on and on, and we loved every minute of it. And that's the kind of experience that folks can come to expect at Funny Car Chaos. And it's part of that rule number one of having fun. So we're excited to experience that with you and with an ever-growing number of people who choose to become a part of Chaos Nation. Can't say enough about what a great time it was there at Baton Rouge.
It certainly was a great time, David, and I'm waiting for a video to upload that will set up Shayne Lawson, who we've got in studio. Really cool with him getting that A-Field win, Rodak's Custom Coffee A-Field win, and what it all means for that team and for Ken Singleton. And then we'll hear from Shayne and what it means for him, of all that they've been able to get in line in 2023. And 2024 is going to shape up in Funny Car Chaos competition to be, again, one of, if not the most competitive year we've experienced. I think you've seen this year probably the most competitive year that Funny Car Chaos has experienced. Having a champion out of the B field with Tom Furches, but you see Keith Zimmerman has been great.
It really has. I was kind of doing a recap. In fact, I've got it right in front of me right now. Of the top 12 in points, 4 of those competitors came from those that run the A field generally. 3 of the competitors that finished in the top 12 came from racers that normally run the C field, or if we have 32 cars, they will often run in the D field. 5 of the teams came out of a group that normally run in the B field. So they're plenty quick, plenty fast cars. But the concept of Funny Car Chaos with the ability to earn points, the get in where you fit in kind of thing that has been talked about on social media at length today. And that was a great piece written by Will Hanna. And but the parity, the opportunity for you not to have a multi-million-dollar operation in order to compete and win in Funny Car Chaos is, part of that formula that makes it so special. So, with 4 from the A, 5 from the B, and 3 from the C, and those top 12 in points, that says that if you've got a funny car and you want to run and compete, and you don't want to have to lose all the money that you've ever possibly had and ever can possibly make, Funny Car Chaos might be something you want to check into and come race with us in 2024, because the parity is there, the opportunity for our funny car competitors, to do well with what they've got. It exists somewhere, and it exists in Funny Car Chaos.
It certainly does. What is the quip, David, if you want to make someone a millionaire, start with 10 million and go drag racing, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. You can become a millionaire in drag racing if you start out as a multimillionaire. Yeah, something along those lines, because it can be a very, very, very expensive deal. But we're having some folks that are finding out that a handful of sponsors, a handful of supporters, and or maybe like Jordan Ballou on the side of the Ballou Thunder Funny car, all those names on there. That's a whole lot of people giving a little bit, and that little bit wound up being enough to get them to and from Maryland International Raceway so they could keep their streak alive. And but it's real easy to help it's really easy to want to help great people. We certainly have great people racing with us in Funny Car Chaos.
For sure. Well, I've got the video uploaded. We got Shayne in studio. One bit of public service announcement. Take your phone, whatever you're watching this right now on, hit the share button and hit the like button and let us know where you're watching from. It helps out the channel, helps out the show. Hit the share button, hit the like button, let us know where you're watching from as we take a break, and then the A-Field winner, Shayne Lawson.
Into the pre-stage goes Shayne Lawson. Both cars using the converter, so they will turn on 4 bulbs, bring up the reds, and there they go. At the top end, put a wind light on that right side, 369, 206.8 miles an hour, Shayne Lawson. Fast lane, Shayne closes the deal to take that Rodak Custom Coffee A-Field final round. A 9.58 60 foot and a 2.
Yes! Yes! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah, Double D! Hell yeah! Oh, Joanna! Hey.
State Capitol Raceway will go down in history as this man's first A-Field win as a tuner, the champ, Ken Singleton. You get Shayne Lawson into victory lane.
Yeah, it's been a great day. Weather's been great. Crew done awesome. Shayne's done a great job driving. It's just the way this is great. It's awesome. We been fighting all year, fighting with this new car, and we finally got it lined out. Actually, things started coming together at Mocan. And we're getting it. I can't wait for next year. We're going to be great.
You are going to be great, Ken. I can't help but think last year, this was the second race of the year. You were not here because of your fire. Here we are. You're a winner. Full circle, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad the good Lord's made it where I can be here, and there's no other place I'd rather be.
Congratulations, Ken.
I tell you what, that just about says it all. I want to welcome Shayne Lawson to the program. Welcome back to the program. Got a little feedback there, but we'll try to work through that.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. I can also hear me coming back with some feedback somehow. But anyway, hey, you guys got the win at State Capitol Raceway in convincing fashion. And, you capped off your third final round of the 2023 season with a win after a runner-up at the season opener at the Motorplex and a runner-up just recently at MoKan, where Ken Singleton was saying it started to come around at MoKan. And, man, it really did come around at Baton Rouge. Congratulations on that A field win.
Are you hearing me okay?
I'm hearing you fine.
Okay.
Could you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, it did start turning around after MoKan. Actually, I felt like it kind of started turning around at Albuquerque when we went that 200. But after MoKan, I thought, okay, we're finally getting things lined out. We got a good shot at Baton Rouge. As long as I do my job, because I kind of went through a tough spell of not driving the best, but finally got things back in order on my end, and Ken got the car lined out, and we were starting to make the thing really haul the butt and come up on top.
Man, it looked like you guys had most of Porter, Oklahoma come down and cheer you on. How important is it to know so many people are behind you in your championship quest?
It's very important because a lot of those people were sponsors. The Bozeman's and Hodge, they were there to see it. They've been big supporters of me from day one. Of course, other people that have joined the group have been big supporters. I mean, it takes everybody to make it all work, and they've been a big blessing in my program. Of course, along with Ken and Joe, my dad, my wife, kids. It just takes a little bit of everybody, the crew, Mike, Lane, Double D, Big John, everybody. Even there's a guy that had to leave the team due to some health issues, but even this winter, it all started back then, getting everything ready to go, and him and my dad were at the shop getting things ready. Neil Ramey, he couldn't stay with us because, like I say, some health issues, but if it wasn't for like him and my dad's stuff, even back then in the winter, getting stuff ready to go at the last minute, I'd have been in trouble. And even like Lane in between MoKan and Baton Rouge, because we've been moving and things, and it's been tough. And if it wasn't for those guys, I'd be in big trouble.
Well, you came out to Albuquerque with the top speed and the track record, and like you mentioned, it began to really come around for you there. And but after some tough breaks this year, you got to feel some relief after breaking. How does it feel for you to break through and get that win to close out the season?
Actually, because it's been a long time coming. It's something I've always strived for, and like I've said from day one, I've got the best in my back pocket now, which is Ken, obviously. And when I started this deal from the get-go, I always said that's the guy I want to chase, because if you're going to be the best, you got to chase the best. And it's been tough, but he's got it lined out, and it ought to be very exciting for next year, because we found a few things on the car that he made some changes with that obviously worked, and he's really got that thing ripping down the racetrack, and it ought to be interesting for next season.
Yeah, I think it should be. That's one of the questions that we want to talk about is 2024. But that new to you McKinney car, you get a lot of extra love when you have a McKinney car, because McKinney Corp will post on the Facebook and highlight the car that you've got there. But man, Ken Singleton is applying his experience. You're applying your experience into it. What have you learned this year that's going to carry forward in 2024 as you finished strong the last 3 years in a row, finishing the year on a very high note, And so going into 2024, what have you learned that's going to carry you forwards and hopefully kick off where you left off?
That's kind of a tough one, but hopefully we can just pick up where we left off. I mean, I've learned quite a bit from Ken, obviously, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when it comes to the tuning side of it, he does his own deal, and he just tells me, hey, it's either going to go or it won't go, or whatever it may be. But that's his deal. I just try to stick with what my job of driving and do a good job at that, and let those guys and Ken and the crew handle their part. And actually, it's become very, in my opinion, very successful as far as everybody gels together. He's one thing I can say about him too is he's very frugal on my budget, because he understands we all got budgets. And even like when we went into the finals, I told him, I said, what do you think about swinging for it? And we were on the same page. I said, I don't care which dude, just don't kick the rods out of it. I said, if we burn a piston or two, that's fine, whatever. I said, I want to outrun Zimmer. I said, but at the end of the day, let's make a statement on this one and get it ready to go for 2024.
Well, you talked about last year getting the car into 3.7s and the occasional 3.6, and that did come through there on your final round with a 369. So that was great. I see Bonnie in the background. It reminds me of something I wanted to ask you about. How about those? How are those up and coming racers in your house doing?
Up and coming racers, they're good. Pamela's got one more race for her season, finishing out at the Tulsa track, and then she'll have a lot of seat time come off season to get familiar with her junior dragster and her junior funny car. So hopefully you guys will be seeing more of her funny car next season.
The response from that funny car, that junior funny car, tell us about that. I think that's probably created an enormous amount of buzz around that car.
Yeah. She was excited about it, and then we went up to Michigan to get it, and she sat in it and was just like, yep, I want it. And then I told Shayne, I said, when she gets a taste of this, there's no looking back. And sure enough, we tested a couple times out in Tulsa, and she was hooked. I mean, she loves her dragster. She won in Mocan Saturday, she won the whole thing in the juniors with her dragster and stuff, but she's ready to get a lot of seat time in that junior funny car. So she's doing good. And then her brother Lane, he'll just continue to be a tuner. Little crew chief guy.
All right. Very good. Hey, Shayne, we're now 5 years into the Funny Car Chaos Championship Series. You've been through most of it. What do you see coming up for the series, for its racers, for its sponsors, and its fans? What's your outlook for 2024 Funny Car Chaos?
I have nothing but good things to say about the Chaos, and I even actually texted Chris the other day about that, that he put on another great year, another great season. I mean, to me, it's the best up-and-coming series out there. We keep getting more and more cars. We keep getting faster and faster cars. I think as if you were a sponsor for even the series or a car, to me, there's more publicity in this deal, and the hype of it's way bigger than these other series, because even though, like you said earlier in the show, you can have from a big block Chevrolet to the Hemi deals like what we run, and everybody can be a part of it, which is a huge deal. And it allows everybody's budgets to fit in, which allows people that with even smaller budgets that can get sponsorships and still go run funny car, which no other series offers that opportunity, which I think is fantastic that Chris has offered this to people. And I'll be honest with you, of all the years I've been racing, this is probably the funnest series I've run in and the most relaxed series. I mean, yeah, you're still under the gun as far as winning and trying to get points and all that, but you are the show, and to me that's a big key factor because of the importance of you don't feel like you're the stepchild of the program like a lot of other series.
Well, I know that you are a competitor, that you have raced with the best, that you've got the trophies, the Wallies. I see the Wallies behind you, and you've got the credibility from your experience on the racetrack. So when you say something like that, it carries a lot of weight, and so we appreciate you saying that. And that's really what Chaos is about. Is for the racers to have a place to race and to come there and have a good time, enjoying it, competing. Winning when you can, but we really saw this year the parity between the classes, and within each particular class, the difference between winner and runner up and semifinals and that kind of thing, just margins of victory in the thousandths of a second, and the competition is intense, and for the fans. How about those Baton Rouge fans? I mean, they were going nuts for you guys, and you probably couldn't hear it in the shutdown area, but all those people around the starting line certainly could, and they were creating some of that noise too. But man, it's got to feel great to know that you've got so many people that are intense and excited about your success.
Oh, 1,000%. It goes back to, like you said, the fans alone at all the tracks. The fans always seem to be really, really good. I love the interaction. I love how Chris has, it's about the fans as well. Most series, they're not like that, And I love the fact that we do interact with the fans, and as much as they get to intertwine with all the racers, which makes them feel welcome. Which when we have more of those people, we get to race more. It's just overall, it's a great deal, and some people think that this series is just a bunch of old redneck hillbillies out here racing, but they don't understand. It's a lot harder than what people think it is. I won't lie. When I first came out, I thought, "What is all this?" But I'm gonna tell you right now, it is not easy. No track's the same, no prep's the same. It's you got to be a tuner and you got to be a driver. And that's what makes it fun, and that's what kind of, obviously, like Chris's philosophy of, making the playing field equal, which I think is fantastic, because it gives everybody, at the end of the day, a shot to win. And, at the end of the day, if people don't think they can win, they're not going to come. And everybody has a chance to win. And the competition is tight. Like when I run Ronnie Young first round of Mocan, I beat him on a whole shot, but it was by .0009, so it was 9/10 thousandths. I mean, how much closer can you get than that? I mean, and that's what drag racing is all about.
Yeah, you don't see racing that close, except a lot of times in index or bracket racing. And for there to be that kind of a margin with a nitro car versus a top alcohol car, I mean, that's just insanely good racing, and part of what we love about it. Well, listen, you guys bring the total package to Funny Car Chaos. You've got great equipment. You've got a great driver, a great team that makes the mechanical part work. You've got an outstanding backup girl who not only does great for your team, but is doing a lot to build the value of backup girls and backup guys to the program. We're extremely excited that your team is part of Funny Car Chaos. You moved from number 13 in 2022 to number 3 in 2023. Just a little bit further to go, and you're going to be sitting on top of the world. And I kind of sense that is definitely what you're planning on in 2024. Am I right?
Definitely is our goal. That's I even said that to Chris when he told Furches to come up, which I know he's coming on next. I said, well, he ain't going to get it for long. I'm swinging for it. Obviously that's our ultimate goal at the end of the day. And I appreciate the compliments of my team. It all goes, like I said, it all goes back to the backbone of people who back me and support me and, allow me to do all this. The sponsors from, like I say, the Bozeman's and Hodge and NGK and Wolf Pumps and Spell Paving. I got CP, NGK, Pie Royal, Maxima, Bates, Ultimate Retreat Pools, and like Harmon Insurance. All these people have helped me, and if it wasn't for these people, even it goes down to my wrap guy. Like, he comes over after every event, makes sure my wrap's good, bolted spines. If there's any kind of blemish, he watches on TV. If there's a blemish, he fixes it, and I have such great support. And, you take that away and I'm in a pickle, because I also have to run my business, and they keep me going. And if I don't have them, I'm done. It's pretty simple, to be honest.
Well, I tell you, we're very happy to have you on the show again tonight, celebrating your success, and we will anticipate a great season in 2024 with you guys. So, Fastlane Shayne and Bonnie, we thank you very much for being on tonight. Anything else you'd like to add?
Let's get ready to rock and roll for 2024.
Amen. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all have a good evening.
All right, you too. All right, you've heard it from Shayne and Bonnie Lawson, and we are happy to have them tuning in to be on the show tonight after a big victory at State Capitol Raceway. Very hard fought, but they made their quickest run of the weekend on that last run down the racetrack, and they have that unique and special Rodak A-Field trophy that will be added to their trophy case, and they are finishing the season number 3 in the points and ready for the 2024 season. Are going to be getting ready for it very soon. So after this break with a word from our sponsors, we're going to come back with the man who closed the deal and was able to lay claim to the title of Funny Car Chaos Champion. We're coming up with Tom Furches right after this.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.
Not many race car shops can say they've been in business for 60 years, but we can. Here at S&W Race Cars, we specialize in welding and fabricating, designing and building door car, dragster, funny car, and alter chassis. We provide water jet cutting and other production services. We have several thousand roll bars and roll cages, custom tube bending, fabricated 9-inch forward housings, and rear frame kits. We run a full-service machine shop, and so much more we couldn't squeeze into a 30-second commercial. Give us a call at 1-800-523-3353 or visit our website.
And we're back from our commercial break. Oh, it's all right. It's all good. We're back from our commercial break, and we have our 2023 champion that is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes we will be talking to them about closing the deal at State Capitol Raceway. Tell you what, sounds like Shayne's got big plans for 2024.
Certainly does. I expect that team will be duking it out there for the top 3 next year for sure. And again, this year, and you've seen every season of Chaos, David. I've just seen from last year to this year. But from last year to this year, how the competitiveness stepped up. It is a huge leap in how competitive it became. And though we're going to be talking to Tom here in a few moments, and he is the 2023 champion, he's going to have a hard time defending that championship in 2024. I don't care what field he is in. I don't care what field Kirk Williams is in. I don't care what field Jade Cook is in or Chris Schneider or whoever else may be coming to the Chaos. It doesn't matter what field you're going to try to do it from. It is going to be tough to win it. We saw it this year. Alex Barker led the way for a good portion of this year. And if it wasn't for the breakage of a transmission at Kearney, we might have had a 3-way fight going in to State Capitol Raceway, but that wasn't the case. But you had an individual in the C field leading the way for a while. Then you had an individual leading from the A field, and we ultimately have an individual out of the B field win it who did lead at times in the year. Competitive across the board.
Yeah, you heard Shayne talk about it, that that the level of competition, the excellence demonstrated by all of these teams that are racing in Funny Car Chaos now, it's just simply outstanding. We have so many teams, whether their budget allows them to go 430 or 440, or whether their budget allows them to go 340. There's a place for you in Funny Car Chaos. And mention was made earlier in the day on about cars going down the racetrack and without, taking out cones and without crashing. And, we have some of that takes place, but it's no more than any place else, as we have very high quality teams, and it's just getting to be more and more of them. You look at the number of people. I'm so excited about expanding our geography over to Maryland International Raceway for that East Coast event. And very excited, of course, to see that it's already on the schedule for next year as well. But the feedback from those competitors, excellent competitors that have been running funny cars for a long, long time, and we're kind of like, well, I don't know about this chaos deal. And if one comes close, I guess we'll find out if it's, for us. Well, a whole bunch of them did show up. We ran 32 cars in the first round, and the feedback was simply terrific. You have competitors, and just because he was at State Capitol Raceway, and it's just one of the several this year that has begun to run more Funny Car Chaos. The Must Be Nice car, Justin Malott, had a good opportunity to visit with him, and it's the same thing that everybody says, and they say it because it's true. Competition is excellent. The teams are excellent, and the one thing that separates us from anything else at the top of the line is the fun factor. There's you can come in and race. Sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're not, but you feel like you're competing and you feel like you've got a chance to win because you do. And so it's just gratifying to know that we're part of something that has really transformed sportsman racing and semi-pro racing, because nobody out here that races with us does this for a living. It's something they do as a hobby, as an avocation. But even so, they do it at an extremely high level. And man, is it fun to watch.
It certainly is fun to watch. It is done at a high level. David, I go across the country and I witness a lot of drag racing, and there are plenty of professional people racing in Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos compared to any other outfit. I think that I see just as many cones or blocks, or even frankly more, knocked out by the Nitro competitors at the professional ranks of the NHRA than Chaos, way more in fact. Because now, I know you're going 330 miles per hour plus, and those are animals to keep control of. But the fact is, the people racing at Chaos, they are stellar drivers as well. I mean, you look down the ranks of who is competing in Chaos, they have many different reasons why. We just had Shayne Lawson on. He's no stranger to the A fuel ranks, even racing with Randy Meyer. He has competed up there. He's gone fast at that level. And you have the Williams Brothers Racing Gang. They have competed at that level. They've won regional titles and done it in the NHRA in the quarter mile. I mean, you have people throughout those pits. They have a long history in drag racing. They have chose to race in Chaos for many different reasons. And honestly, what I can sum it up as is it's just smarter to race at Chaos than anywhere else, honestly.
Well, we don't typically bring up the other organizations, and we don't have anything at all negative to say about any other organization. We just know we have a great place to race. And when people show up and try it out, they find out that what we were saying was spot on. Because when they come and they race and they realize, man, I had a great time. There's a meme that's on Facebook all the time that has the Dumb and Dumber picture of, going to the races and leaving the races. One's happy and one's sad. But, the fact that you can be happy when you go and when you leave both, whether you won or whether you didn't, it says something great about it. And you get a chance to meet terrific people, as I see Jeanette chiming in here. There's nothing like funny car chaos, and that's true. It's one of the things that we absolutely love is being a part of the new friends and the new families that we're becoming associated with through the series.
Right. And there's no one quite like Jeanette, by the way. Quite an interesting individual out there in the chaos. There's a whole sort of interesting people in the chaos. Chris Graves and Tara Graves has collected racer and media type and everyone else involved, some of the most interesting characters throughout drag racing that I have ever encountered.
Well, they've been there through a couple of decades of racing. Not only behind the butterflies, but photography and race promotion. They've done a little bit of all of it. And all of that creative genius that works within their minds and their collective minds is what has brought us Funny Car Chaos. And you hear conversations about, people say, well, what about Jet Car Chaos? And Chris is like, well, we've already got that one ready. For whenever it's time to launch it. Sounds like from the conversation today, we need to have top alcohol chaos, or I was trying to think mid-engine chaos for 2024 or 2025. The possibilities are certainly there. And for people that want to race and have a quality experience and a fun experience, it just keeps getting a little better. Just keeps getting a little better week in and week out. And Lee, I'm just sitting here going, it's 6 months until we get a chance to race again. And it's going to be February until we have the opportunity to get together with regard to an official chaos event with the banquet. But oh my goodness, that event in Tulsa, when we celebrate the Champions Banquet, that's going to be off the hook. I know that people are already counting the days as to when we get to spend time together again. And I know I'm amongst those, and can't wait to be a part of it.
It's certainly going to be fun. We're looking forward to it. Yeah, that might be the only downside to what Chris Graves had planned out, is he planned a 6 months of off time and didn't shorten it up a little bit. That might be the only downside to the whole entire season. But look, once it does fire up, it's going to be firing up in style with a double to kick off the Chaos year, season, and nation for 2024 there at the Texas Motorplex. So it is going to be another stellar year that we have up and coming. So Tom Furches, he has texted me. I've texted him the show link. We're waiting for him to hop on. So we will just keep running our mouths, David, until we have the champ come on and we can talk to him on the show. Ramsey Ward chimes in, says, hey guys, I was at State Capitol Raceway last weekend and really enjoyed the chaos. Please come back next year. David, it is very cool to be a part of a series that I don't think I have at once ever heard anyone say, it doesn't matter if they come back or not. Regularly do I hear, we want you back.
Well, having been here for all of it, we would, at the conclusion of a race, we would sometimes kind of look at each other and say, well, wonder if we're coming back. It didn't take long. In fact, there was only one race in 2017. We knew we were coming back. If there was one, we knew we were coming back to that place, and we did. But when we got to Mocan for that very first one outside of the inaugural, and Carl and his team were like, let's do this next year. We got to Amarillo, and they were like, let's do this next year. And we got to Havana, and they said, will you come back? And we said, well, next year's your 50th anniversary race. Yeah, we'd like to be the headliner for that race. And they said, done. And so that's how it's been since that first year. Come to the race, come to the Funny Car Chaos race, and we put it on, and the owners and the promoters are like, "Well, will you come back next year? Can we get on your schedule next year?" Well, let me think about that. Yeah, okay. So it's been a good thing for everybody involved, which is when it works for everybody, then there's everybody's got to buy in and they got a reason to come back. You talked about the level of competition going into this championship finals. As the moves, we had number 1 and number 2 swap places. Number 3 and number 5 stayed where they were. Number 7 went to number 4, and number 11 went to number 10, and number 9 went to number 7. There was so much that took place at that event there in Baton Rouge that, there's been a couple of years. There's actually been 3 years, one of them without a points chase and 2 of them with a points chase, where one racer pretty much dominated. But other than that, it's been quite competitive. And this year, it was extremely competitive. You saw Kirk Williams and the Williams brothers in that high quality team last year, leaving 6 points on the table, and that was it. That was what you call one of those 3 dominant seasons that there's been in the history of Funny Car Chaos. So they absolutely dominated that year. But this year, the competition, it wasn't that the Williams brothers became any less extraordinary as funny car racers. The level of competition rose to the standard that they had set. Everybody knew they weren't going to back into the winner's circle. And so they upped their game, and that made it very, very competitive for everybody. And, as more racers show up and race Funny Car Chaos, you can anticipate even more of that in 2024. The new teams that have come in have set a standard in terms of excitement and, that raw enthusiasm that is coming off of these new teams coming in. Like, this is a cool place to be. Man, I love it. I love it. And we got more room as well.
We certainly do. We certainly do. Chaos Nation is expanding. Well, we got Tom Furches in the green room, and let's take a break and get the champ on for Funny Car Chaos.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Champions Banquet at the end of the 2022 season, Tom Furches was celebrating his second place finish in the 2022 season, but he let everybody know that he was coming for the title in 2023. So there he is right now. Tom Furches, you closed the deal. Congratulations on your first Spell Paving Services Funny Car Chaos Championship.
David Lee, it's great to be talking with you. Thank you very much. It's been a dream come true, and a lot of things had to really come our way to make it a reality.
You went from number 5 in 2021 to number 2 last year, and you moved up that one more spot. And you don't do this with a whole lot of people. We were talking at the conclusion of the races, and you're not long on labor in the Made in America pit. You got some great folks working with you. I know that you want to celebrate and thank them.
I have a tremendous team. Seeing Bonnie and Shayne win the A field right in front of us in Baton Rouge, just to look at the size of the group of people that they bring to the starting line and the amount of talent that team has behind them, it's incredible. I'm envious of those people and those big teams that are able to put together a group of people that are all pointed in the right direction and working towards a goal. Unfortunately, for the Made in America Funny Car team, it is not that great big exercise of people that we come to the races with. It's a 3-man team. Chuck Clegg and Joe Percoco are the other 2 that are involved, and somehow, some way, I think we go home a little bit more tired than maybe some of the bigger teams, but we make it work, and it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of work, and it's really amazing to have it turn out the way it did. Everybody can talk a big talk, and yeah, we finished second and we're coming for number 1, but that one position is so hard to achieve. I don't think it's difficult to put it in words, and I don't think a casual fan, even the great ones that come out to multiple chaos races, can truly understand what it takes to work yourself into that top position and then to try and hang on to it. It's a ton of work.
It truly is that. Hey, take me back to you're sitting in the car. You are waiting for your run in the B field, but just ahead of you, your closest competitor, Kirk Williams, is lining up at the starting line. When you're sitting there, when that red light came on, what was the emotion like?
Well, I can go back a little bit farther. I had talked to the team about what it was going to take for us to come out victorious in Baton Rouge. And we had basically thought about the idea of, if Kirk wins the semifinal round, we're done for. We're going to finish in second place for the second year in a row. And Lee had stopped by earlier in the day, and after qualifying had wrapped up, and he said, it's not 6 points anymore. It's now 3 points. So that did change it slightly for us, but we still had the mindset going into the event that if Kirk had been able to secure a win in the semifinals, that we were in big trouble. And so I had already the guys had got me strapped into the car. I was in position, and we were just waiting for our opportunity. And we had heard that Kirk was up, ready to make his semifinal run. And then there was a little bit of confusion on our part, whether or not, who had gone red or what exactly was taking place, because where we were in the lanes, we weren't able to see the starting line. We weren't able to see the race surface. So we were trying to listen to Dave as much as possible and get as much information as we could. But when it did finally, we were able to decipher that Kirk had not made the win in the semifinals. We knew that was our chance. If we were going to make it, it was going to be in the next 2 minutes. It was our time. And Joe said it out loud, and the words were something to the matter of, this is why we're here. This is what we came for. This is what we're going to go do. And away we went.
Yeah, you had to have one more win light than Kirk Williams did. And so even though he went red, he's out. He can accrue no more points. If you drive through and get the win light, then you have put it out of reach. And that's exactly what wound up happening.
Yes, Tom, and it was a little bit more exciting than we actually hoped for as well. There were some people watching the live stream flow at home, and they were trying to give us, updates and feedback and all kinds of stuff. And we're just trying to go out there and do what we do. And there was a lot going on in a few short minutes.
So your phone was blowing up while you're trying to get in the mindset to fire up the car.
Well, and I don't know why this is, Dave, but for some reason, when those seatbelts get pulled tight, there's nothing else in the universe that's taking place. I always talk about, if it doesn't happen in the size of a basketball directly in front of me as a driver, it truly doesn't happen once I'm inside that car. And that gives me the opportunity to focus and gear up towards the task at hand. But it also gives me an opportunity as a driver. I'm not nervous in that seat. I am as relaxed as I can be. And I don't know where that truly comes from, but I'm able to relax and gain focus. And it's a place that I'm not afraid of. I'm not scared of. I'm ready, and I'm excited about what's going to happen next because we're prepared for it. And that prepared part goes a long way as well.
It does. It is when you do it enough times. They talk about takes 10,000 hours to master the craft, and you've certainly spent 10,000 hours anyway, mastering the craft. Then all of a sudden, it's not like you've reached a point where you can do it right. You've reached a point where you can't do it wrong. And when you've reached that point, it's a championship. You're in a championship contention.
Yeah, and we've talked about it as a team before. It sometimes comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes is going to turn the win light on. And sometimes we look at it that way too. It's not about how much we can do right. It's just limiting the number of things that you do wrong.
Yeah. So Tom, you become the third Funny Car Chaos champion, and your predecessors are both outstanding racers. You and your team are worthy of the title. Tell us what you learned and what you saw in the Williams Brothers team and in the Singleton and Rayburn team before that helped you to earn this title.
There's actually quite a bit. And one of the things that I try to do as a driver, a team owner, is to learn from those that are competing at a higher level than I am that day. Watching Ken and how he carried himself and what he did to become a champion, I was paying attention to that. I was watching, I was paying attention. I don't know who there. I'm sure there's some people out there in Chaos Nation that have noticed that there's someone. Normally, it's my youngest daughter, Ashley, taking notes and taking more than just notes, taking in information about the day's events. And then there are certain times when that information needs to be transferred to the team, and she'll come out of the stands and bring me that information. And that idea, and I'm proud to say it, was stolen from Joe Singleton. I used to watch her, and she would share with me a little bit of information from time to time that she was gathering. And we do that same process because there's information that can be learned and can help the team. So paying attention to what the champ is up to, or the defending champ, or people that are up in front and running, it pays off.
It's a great tip right there for those who are going to try to take that title away from you. But you know what? Excellence is its own reward. Sometimes there's other great rewards that come with it as well. Hey, there's now 6 months until the first race in which you are tasked with defending your title. What's that going to be like for you and the Made in America team?
Well, last year I had the opportunity to speak with you guys at the end of the season, and the idea was we weren't going to change much. We knew we had a competitive car, and the way that the series is designed, it allows people that don't have the fastest cars to be championship contenders, and we proved it because this is the first time, as everyone well knows, that someone outside the A field has been able to secure a championship. But I can say, going into 2024, there has to be some changes made. The fields are getting faster. The cars are getting more competitive. We're going to need about 0.2 of a second, at least one, closer to 0.2 of a second, to be competitive in 2024. The cars are just, there's no room for mistakes. You can't drop the ball. We did in Missouri, and I really thought that was going to be the end of our season when we had a failure in Mocan.
Well, that added to the drama going into the championship finals. It made it to where Lauren Hansen came on there a little while ago and said I loved the drama, and it was. I mean, it was incredibly tense there as to how is this going to shake out. And how it's going to come out. It's so much fun not knowing and having so many people in contention for the championship and for those various top 10 spots. You know, Tom, there's 200 funny car teams that have now run in Funny Car Chaos. We've expanded to the East Coast, so our geographic footprint has gotten larger. What's the future look like from your vantage point for Funny Car Chaos Racing?
You know, we've talked about this. We have multiple hours getting from event to event, and I don't know if it's possible, and I'd hate to stack the deck even taller for what Chris and Tara are working on, but it would be interesting to see if this could grow to the point where we could have an East Coast and West Coast type division and have, you know, something like that in the future. We've already made it to the East. I can only imagine that the group of funny cars on the West Coast would be just as eager to participate. And there's no stopping this idea. I hope it doesn't turn into the Heritage Series. Drag racers are really notorious for ruining good things. And right now, the Funny Car Chaos idea is a great thing, and it's great for a lot of teams to participate at a bunch of different levels. If you come by my pit on a weekend, you can definitely see that we are not the most financially spending team on the property. We don't have a huge budget. We have a good budget, but to be able to participate at a high level, what Chris and Tara have created there, I don't know where it's going to go next, but it's going to be exciting, and it's exciting to participate in.
So, seems like an obvious answer to the question. You've already stated that you feel like you need a 10th to 2/10. So we know you're coming back in 2024, which is great news for everybody in Chaos, because you are such an excellent competitor and such a quality team that, man, we are very happy that you're coming back to defend your championship. Coming into the banquet in February, have you thought much about that? Are you anticipating getting back together with everybody and celebrating that win?
Oh, I don't know if celebrating the win is the top priority, but getting together with everybody is the most exciting part. The people that run in Chaos are fantastic on and off the track. We had some failures over the weekend, and the Barkers were, you know, there are Barker parts on my car right now. The people that do Chaos or participate in Chaos are the best. And once people participate in Chaos, they just keep coming back. And yes, to answer your question, David, the banquet is going to be a blast. We're looking forward to it in a great way. You know, people have asked me, do I feel like a champ? I don't know if that is the truth yet. I feel like we've done a good job, and we're excited about that. We're also excited about trying to do it again. I have a feeling people are going to remember me more as the champ when we show up in Ennis in April than I'm going to think of myself as a champ. They're going to be shooting for us. They're going to be coming for us, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
It is that, and I'll just go ahead and answer the question. You are a champion. You are the Funny Car Chaos champion. The 5th season crown goes back to the land of the high and mighty, and you're in the final round there, and you've got Keith Jackson's car with Steve Grabowski behind the wheel, and you're there with your Colorado team. That had to be especially gratifying.
Steve is a tremendous racer, and to me, he's a tremendous friend. With the excitement that was in the semifinals for me and Jade, and when we heard that there was some excitement down on the big end of the racetrack, and it had fire involved, I was like, well, there was one alcohol car and there was one nitro car, so it's likely to be that the nitro car is having the issue. So we stopped at Keith's truck and trailer in their pit on the way back after the semifinal. We asked them if they were going to be able to make the final, and they said no, they'd heard it beyond repair. So I reached out to my guys, because we'd popped the panel out of it, and while we were working on it to get it prepared for the final, we did kind of a compression test on number 1 cylinder, and there was no compression. We haven't taken the head off yet, but I guarantee that there's a hole. We nuked another piston, and at least one, if not two. So I was like, well, we can't make a full run. We're just going to hurt more parts. Why don't I have some fun with this idea? We've just secured the championship. We're at a great facility. The fans are still packed full of people that are enjoying the evening. So I talked to Lee, and Lee took it out and spread the word with Chris and with you, David. And we were just going to have fun with the moment. They don't come around that often. So I came up with an idea, and it really worked. We were having fun. I hope everybody else was too.
Yeah, I think everybody was having a great time and enjoyed that final round spectacle that you guys brought. Well, man, congratulations. We're excited to welcome you as the latest champion in the Spell Paving Services Funny Car Chaos Championship Series. It was a hard-fought battle. You and your team towing all across the country, doing the work of more than 3 people with just the 3 of you. And we can't thank you enough for coming on the show tonight, and we can't congratulate you enough and wish you the very, very best in 2024 as the brand new champion, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Furches.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to the end of another program. We're going to take a little break and give you a word from our sponsor. A great conversation with our new champion, Tom Furches. And when we come back, we'll give you a brief rundown on what's coming up this weekend as we go from one championship finals to the next, as the inaugural season of Nitro Chaos is also down to the wire as to who's going to be the champion. We don't know. Going to race for it, and we're going to love it. We'll be right back after these words.
Side of the stripe is going to be your 2023 Spell Paving Services champion, as they got the win light of 403 at 172 miles an hour. Something happened with the Nemesis funny car, as at the flash of amber, the car simply did not move. You see that sometimes. Tom Furches goes 979 to 60 foot, 264 to half track, a 403 at 100.
Tom Furches rolling around here in the shutdown area. He is your 2023 Funny Car Chaos Spell Paving Championship Tour champion. Last year, he was number 2. He had been clear. He had been adamant that this year he was going to engineer an effort to be number 1. And Kirk Williams, by turning on the win light, he is the 2023 Funny Car Chaos champion. He is no longer number 2. He is, in fact, number 1. We'll let him get off the car, get the gear off. You're looking at a champion, ladies and gentlemen. Tom from Colorado, an engineer. He actually makes beer cans, of all things. A made in America effort. The name of his funny car, the name of his team, and it is a championship effort in 2023. Tom's worked hard for this at Mocan. They lost a motor. He is your champion. Tom.
We did it. We did it. We overcame so much just to get here. I think we blew up another one. We did it. We're the champs. I want to thank everybody who's helped us along the way. There's so many people. There's a couple people that are going to be real excited when they come down this road here. Chuck Clegg, his wife Brooke, Joe Percoco. These guys make this thing work. If it wasn't for them, I can't start it by myself. This is incredible. I am so excited. I'm so out of breath. I want to thank everybody. Chris, the track, everywhere we've been this year, we travel a lot of miles to make this happen. It's fantastic. We're the champs.
You are the champs. You've engineered an effort. You certainly deserve it. A number one earning effort. Folks, you're looking at your 2023 Spell Paving Funny Car Chaos champion.
Champ. Thank God.
Well, that's what it was like on the top end, David. It was certainly a great moment for Tom Furches. Cool to see and experience myself. Matter of fact, he was so exhausted yet relieved by winning, he just laid out on the ground. You can see that fully in the recap, and just laid there and soaked it all in.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, and of course you could kind of see the exhaustion on his face as he was pretty much spent after a grueling weekend. But the payoff was there, and he was rejuvenated shortly thereafter when that crew came down there, and they were hooping and hollering. And of course, that's something that everybody's going to see on the recap. But boy, it was exciting, and why not? I mean, you just closed the deal, and you're the new series champion. So congratulations to Tom and the Made in America team, adding their name to a very distinguished but very short list of Spell Paving Services Funny Car Chaos champions.
Yes, sir. Wow. There is still history to be made, guaranteed history, which we were guaranteed history in what we had at State Capitol Raceway for Funny Car Chaos, but we're going to get to witness the first ever Nitro Chaos champion this weekend.
You know, when the Nitro Chaos series was announced, sometimes you never know exactly what the response is going to be, but it didn't take long. Just bang, bang, bang. Several teams announcing immediately that they were going to chase that first Nitro Chaos championship. And we've got at the top of the list, we've got a tie for second between Gary Wheeler and Todd Bruce. Megan Meyer on top of the points with a 6-point lead. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, that's exactly the lead that Kirk Williams came into the Funny Car Chaos Championship finals with. So we have got Megan Meyer and Gary Wheeler, Todd Bruce on top of the list. Joe Gallegos down there just a little ways below that with 112 points in the fourth spot. So it's wide open. You saw Lauren Hansen talk about loving the drama. It's going to be drama part 2. We go to Pine Valley Raceway, a track that we've been to for Funny Car Chaos racing a couple of times, but this will be the first Nitro Chaos event at Pine Valley Raceway. But it's shaping up to be a great one, as all the competitors coming in, and even some new ones are coming in to race in this last run of the season, as the DMP Awnings Nitro Chaos Championship Tour, presented by McKinney Corporation, is going to be one more drama-filled, exciting race down there in the piney woods of deep East Texas.
Looking forward to going back to Pine Valley. It is a neat facility out there in East Texas. It's going to be a great place to host championship finals for Nitro Chaos. And David, let me just say this. I just looked at the entry list. I don't think it's been updated. I don't think it's the entry list that we are going to be able to count on. When I get to Pine Valley, I'm taking a pit tour very quickly to see what all has shown up and what will be in play. Because I think we're going to have a very similar situation where the points are going to dramatically change after qualifying.
There will certainly be some opportunities for changes to take place. Everybody's going to be, coming in there with the express intent of claiming the championship. So it's going to be an absolute battle, particularly between those four at the top. And we've seen some great racing in Nitro Chaos this season. We have seen cars and teams come from United States and from north of the border. I'm not sure we were anticipating the international flavor that we've experienced, but the Altereds, both injected and supercharged, the dragsters injected and supercharged, slingshots, rear engine, funny cars, you got them injected and supercharged. If it's burning nitro, it's going to be in as far as this race goes. and it's really coming down to what should be a very dramatic conclusion to the season.
I completely agree. It will be a dramatic conclusion, and may the best man or lady win that championship in Nitro Chaos. It is going to go down right to the wire, and we are going to be focusing on each and every round of qualifying and each and every round of elimination. It's going to matter where people place in which field, A field or B field. And we are, man, David, it's just cool to be a part of such close championship battles 2 weekends in a row. And it's not manufactured. Like, there's not a playoff, not against any playoff system, don't get me wrong, but it's not a playoff system. It's not, draw chips, nothing against drawing chips, nothing. It has just been people go drag racing, collect points, and see who's the top dog at the end of the season. And we have both series come down going in 6 points. Amazing.
This reminds me so much of 1989 when Gary Ormsby and Joe Amato were down to the last race of the year in Top Fuel on the Big Show Tour. As I was deeply invested in that as a fan, and that was actually before I even started announcing, but my brother and I would talk racing after every NHRA national event. And Gary Ormsby, it was very easy to like him. And he was the guy that my brother and I gravitated to. And during that season, it came down to the last race, the World Finals that were held at Pomona that year. And it was a knockdown, drag out deal. And it went on like that for a couple, 3 years. But that year was extremely interesting because Gary Ormsby went through multiple race cars and there was a whole lot of drama. You talk about drama. There was a lot of it in that series. This is kind of reminding me, it has kind of that flavor to it. That was a longer season and all that jazz, but that's coming down right down to it. There weren't a whole lot of them that came down to a closer conclusion for who was going to be the champion and who was going to come in second. But we've got it for you for the second weekend in a row. Funny Car Chaos had drama, bukus of drama. And there's going to be more of that coming up at Pine Valley. For anybody that's not already a subscriber to Flow Racing, this is going to be the last broadcast race of the season on Flow Racing. And one of the things, if you can't get to Pine Valley Raceway, you most definitely want to be watching it. So we encourage you to become a Flow Racing subscriber so you can watch it as it's happening, as it's going down, because it's going to be another great weekend, absolutely, at Pine Valley. It's going to be close, and we've already been over that quite a bit. But then we go into, remember, we talked about it, 6 months off, no chaos racing on the racetrack. So what you going to do? Watch it on demand. You can only do that if you're a Flow Racing subscriber. So even though this is the last broadcast race of the year, that off season is coming up faster than we think. And so you want to make sure that you can watch the races, review the races, learn what you can from them. I know that we've got some racers that like to watch the races and learn everything they can about the tracks and about their competitors. Well, you're going to want to be able to do that. So our last broadcast is coming up. Cannot wait to see how this shakes out. And it's just as the conclusion of the inaugural season. There only will ever be one first-time champion. And, we're gonna not too long from now, about this time Saturday night, we should know who's in the final round. We may or may not know who's going to be the champion because it's going to come down to that last run down the racetrack. I hope you'll be a part of it one way or another.
It is going to be a good time, David. It's going to be a good time with you, everyone else involved, and I can't wait to get to Lufkin. And I'm just glad that I'm only an hour and a half away and not 8.
Yeah, I'm a little further than that, and I'm taking a circuitous route down there. We've got SoCal Speed Shop of Waco is going to be the presenting sponsor for the event down at Pine Valley this particular race. And I'm planning to go by and stop by SoCal and meet David Rattan and his staff down there. But we are certainly excited to have them on board once again, as they sponsored the Funny Car Chaos season opener, the Classic, and they're going to conclude the season as the featured sponsor for the Nitro Chaos Championship Finals. So anyway, if you guys are watching down in SoCal at Waco, hoping to see you guys tomorrow.
David, the future of Funny Car Chaos, the future of Nitro Chaos, it's all very bright.
It is. And I'm happy to be part of that bright future with you, my friend. It's been a great season. And we got just a little bit more to go, but it's the fun that never ends.
For sure. Well, I've enjoyed the fun right here tonight, but the show certainly does end.
Yeah. It must. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we thank you for joining us for Chaos Live. Always our pleasure to bring you the latest and what's happening in the world of Funny Car Chaos racing. As we depart tonight, we encourage you to be safe, be well, get yourselves to Pine Valley Raceway if you can. Even if you can't, know that we're thinking about you, and we're happy that you're part of all things chaos. We'll see you next time with a recap from the championship finals of Nitro Chaos. And with that, we bid you a fine farewell and a good night. See you later.
If you can race it, chances are we make a piston or connecting rod for it. Oh, we have about 4,000 to 5,000 different part numbers on the shelf for connecting rods and pistons. So about half of what we sell comes right off the shelf, and the other half is custom-made parts. I am a firm believer in distribution and everybody getting their cut, doing their job, and getting rewarded for it. So we'll see how that goes in the future.